Okay, so now let's look at exercise 2. Take some time to complete the story using the correct phrase. So this is a review of Units 7 and 8. So if you need to go back to Unit 7 to be reminded of some of the grammar that we learned, then of course you can do that. And when you're finished with this story, then I also want you to go ahead and do exercise B, and you have to make questions based on these answers, of course, and this is also from the information from this story. So pause the video, complete the story, make the questions, and then you can continue the video. Okay, so let's read the story together. Getting work experience. Hal has been applying for jobs as a computer technician since October. He has had several interviews, so again, has had, but he hasn't gotten a job yet. He's afraid of applying again until he gets some experience. Okay, so afraid of applying. This is a gerund after preposition that we talked about earlier. His friend Terry gave him some good advice. He said Hal should think about volunteering at Hal's son's school. Okay, so Hal should think about volunteering. This is another gerund after preposition. So the gerund is volunteering, and then about is the preposition. And think in this case is, of course, a verb. So think about volunteering at Hal's son's school. Hal wants to call the school because the school has been having problems with the computer system for a few months. Okay, so this is present perfect continuous. And we can see that they are still having computer problems, and it has been happening for a few months. And then Hal is interested in helping. So again, gerund after preposition, interested in helping. It would be a win-win situation for both the school and Hal. Okay, so now let's take a look at the questions. So number 1 should be, who has been applying for a job? Okay, so if you look at the answer, it says Hal has been applying for a job. Okay, and it's a who question. So the short answer is Hal, and you have to use the same tense. So who has been applying for a job? Okay, this is a subject question, so you do not need to use any helping verbs. Okay, number 2. The answer is he has been looking for a job as a computer technician. So for this one, you might ask, what kind of job has he been looking for? Okay, so has he been looking for? What kind of job has he been looking for? Or you can also say, what has he been looking for? What has he been looking for? And the short answer would be a job as a computer technician. So either of those questions is fine. What has he been looking for? Or what kind of job has he been looking for? So in this case, the helping verb is has or has been. So we need to say what has he been looking for? Or what kind of job has he been looking for? So let's look at number 3. The answer is Hal wants to volunteer at his son's school, and the question word is where. So we know that the short answer is at his son's school. So we need a helping verb because it's in the predicate. It's part of the object, not the subject. So we can ask, where does Hal want to volunteer? Because want or wants is third person singular. So we have to say, where does Hal want to volunteer? Okay, and does is the helping verb. Okay, now I want you to make 2 more questions. Let me show my notes. Okay, so the first question I want you to make is for this answer. Okay, so the answer is since October. Okay, so I want you to make a question And then I also want you to make another question with the answer, because the school has been having because the school has been having problems with the computer system for a few months. Okay, so the big hint is because, and even this one, since, is a big hint too. So you should know what question word or phrase to use. Okay, so you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at this one. So you can ask the question, how long, because since is a big hint. How long has Hal been applying for jobs as a computer technician? How long has Hal been applying for jobs as a computer technician? Okay, and then let's look at this one. Because is a big hint, I told you earlier. So you can say, why does Hal want to call the school? Why does Hal want to call the school? Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our next page, which is pronunciation. Okay, so we're going to talk about linking sounds. So linking means connecting. So I've mentioned this several times before in class, but when we say sentences and read sentences, we don't stop after each word. So, for example, if you look at this question, we don't say, what do you need to do? We just connect everything. What do you need to do? Sometimes it sounds like some words are blending together, like, what do you need to do? And that goes for these phrasal verbs as well. So we don't say clean up, we say clean up. Okay, so the N and the U connect together. So it almost sounds like it's just one word, clean up. Okay, and we also don't say fill out. We say fill out. So the L and the O connect. So people will say, could you fill out this application, please? They don't say, could you fill out this application, please? So, of course, if you read it separately, you can say fill out the application. But in normal conversation, we connect everything. So this one too, we don't say put on your clothes. We say put on your clothes. So the T is a very tricky one because sometimes it sounds like a rolling R, like put on. It makes that r sound. And on other occasions, it makes a different kind of a sound, like a nasal sound. But we're not going to talk about all of that today. I just want you to go ahead and practice. And I'm going to play the listening so you can repeat after the audio.
Page 109, Exercise 3A. 1. Clean up. 2.
Think about.
3. Turn up. 4.
Fill out.
5. Interested in. 6.
Throw out.
7. Put on. 8.
Tired of.
Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Now, I want you to look at number 5 real quick. This is a commonly mispronounced word. So sometimes I hear people say interested, but it's interested. So, and same thing with interesting. It's not interesting, it's interesting. So the emphasis is on the first syllable. So we say interested in, okay? And then, so the D's and T's both have a rolling sound to it. So interested in, tired of, okay? We don't have to say tired of, we say tired of, interested in, okay? Put on. Now, let's go to the next activity. So in this activity, you are going to listen to the conversation, and you will hear a pause after each sentence. So you just need to repeat after the people. Pay attention to the linking sounds in the phrasal verbs. So you can see these are the linking sounds here. Okay, so let me go ahead and play the audio.
Page 109. Exercise 3B. 1.
What do you need to do?
I have to clean up the kitchen.
Can I help?
Sure. Could you throw out the trash?
I'd be happy to.
2.
Don't you think it's cold in here?
It's a little cold.
Why don't you turn up the heat?
That costs too much money. You can put on my jacket.
Okay. So for exercise C, you can practice the conversations on your own or with someone in your family, and pay attention to the linking sounds in the phrasal verbs. So you can read it and identify the phrasal verbs first, and then you can practice verbally. So for example, here you can see interested in, and here you can see fill out. Okay, so there are several in each conversation, so you can practice on your own and try to read the sentences in a natural way, and it's good because this is a conversation format, so it'll be more helpful in practicing these phrases in a natural conversational setting. Okay, now we're going to look at a worksheet here. Okay, so these are some questions that help you to practice phrasal verbs as well as present perfect sentences using ever. So if you remember, when we make a short answer to a present perfect question, we can use present perfect as well. So for example, have you ever filled out a job application? And you can say, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Okay, both of those are present perfect tense questions. And you can make it a little bit longer. You can say, no, I haven't. I have never filled out a job application. But let's say that the answer is yes. So yes, I have. And then you can include a specific example from the past, of course, using past tense. So you can say, yes, I have. I filled out a job application when I was in high school. Okay, so there are lots of tenses actually. You can see this one is past tense. What did you clean up last week? This one is present tense. Who puts away the clean clothes in your house? And this one is very similar, also present tense. So just make sure you pay attention to the tenses, because I know many students are still practicing and getting used to using the correct tenses. So there are lots of things you need to pay attention to. Pay attention to the tenses, pay attention to the phrasal verbs. So as you can see here, left the lights on. So leave on is the phrasal verb, but it's present perfect tense. So left is a past participle, PP. So just lots of things to look for. And then filled out is the phrasal verb. And they all have phrasal verbs. So also practice linking those sounds together. Okay, so this one, of course, I also cannot check. So this is the last activity for this video and for this lesson. So just do as many as you can, and when you're finished, you can rest, and I'll see you for the next lesson. Okay, bye-bye.